Hello guys, what's up? I hope you had a great Christmas and advance Happy New Year also. We will continue from our last episode. As seen above, the aswang possesses extraordinary powers. He has the ability to fly or to walk very fast to escape notice or capture. Another power he wields is to transform himself into any kind of animal he desires, or into any object, both animate or inanimate. He can make himself invisible and can change the form and appearance of a dead person or even change things into other forms or shape if he desires. His sense of hearing and that of seeing are very powerful, most especially if on the prowl at night. And during at night too, they are all too powerful physically speaking. It is believed that the female aswang, its strength is equivalent to that of about 10 able-bodied men. Finally, the aswang is gifted with the power to heal himself of any wound by just using his saliva. In appearance, the aswang looks pale and weak during the daytime, which is generally attributed to their lack of evening rest. They also appear to be stoop-shouldered, which is due to their propensity in wandering under the houses of their intended victim, the one who is sick or bedridden. But when darkness sets in, the aswang will have an energetic and dynamic body. They feel extremely happy whenever they see the moon just beginning to round. In the case of a female aswang, she with her long hair cascading down her shoulders looks extremely beautiful during daytime despite her fatigue. Aswangs, however, despise going out to socialize with their neighbors or other people. All they want is isolation, to be secluded from normal people. How does one become an aswang? There are about 4 known ways to become an aswang: by personal effort, by transmission, or by contamination, and by heredity. The first one may be done easily. A fertilized chicken egg held against the stomach is bound to the prospective aswang by wrapping a cloth around his body. The chicken in the egg will then, after the lapse of time, will go through the body, passing through the skin into the stomach, leaving the eggshell behind. This done, the prospective aswang will emit the cry of a kakak or kikik. Another way, under the personal effort, is done by every Good Friday. The potential aswang, carrying with him 2 fertilized chicken eggs, goes into the cemetery after the evening procession. Under the glare of the moon, he will stand straight, look at the great celestial body, and hold each egg under his armpits. He must then recite some magical words 3 times, a formula which are known only to aswangs. Soon, the egg will disappear. The man is now a full-blown aswang. But he must repeat the same ritual yearly to renew his power. The mode of transmission is done by voluntarily acceptance also of the aspirant aswang of the power from the old aswang. Usually, the old aswang is on his deathbed, and what he does is to open his mouth near the gaping mouth of the new host. Their mouths now 1 inch or 2 apart, the small chick will emerge from the dying aswang's mouth and will hop into the wide open mouth of the aspirant. The transmission is now complete and the new host is now an aswang. The old host then passes away. Transmission of aswang power may also happen if the aswang is still strong and in good health, desires to give it to another person aspiring to be an aswang. This then can do by making their sticking out their tongues, making them touch to form some sort of a bridge. This will enable the small chick which emerges out from the veteran aswang's stomach to cross the bridge tongue and rush into the mouth and settle down into the stomach of the new host. The latter now becomes a new aswang. Yon. Sorry guys, because some of the wordings in this book seems very odd, and I know there's grammatical error in this, and yeah, there are lots of error in this book grammatically. But anyway, let's continue. Still, another mode of transmission is through education. The veteran aswang giving instructions to the hopeful aswang, which the latter will follow until he eventually gains knowledge of the secret of the aswang. Once he completes the course, he is directed to eat a piece of the human flesh specially prepared by the old hand aswang. This done, he now becomes a full-fledged aswang. Yeah, see, there's another grammatical error there. Anyway, let's continue. Contamination. Contamination, as the term itself says, is a process that is done by the aswang superstitiously tainting the food of the unsuspecting victim. The veteran aswang need only to make his prey eat food mixed with a piece of the aswang prepared human flesh or drinks spiked with the said aswang's saliva, and the victim then become an aswang. Another form of contamination is done in a rather unique fashion. This involves using the hair strand taken from the aswang's head. After he holds one end of the strand using his teeth, the aswang sticks the other tip to the mouth of the victim. This usually happens when the victim is fast asleep. Now there is a hair bridge that is formed between the two mouths. Here, the veteran aswang lets his saliva course down using the bridge. As soon as the saliva enters the mouth of the victim, the latter then becomes an aswang. Becoming an aswang by heredity is simple. If either parent is an aswang, the offspring can become an aswang. It is believed that becoming an aswang by heredity will continue for 7 generations. There are ways to detect if one is an aswang. An aswang does not look directly to the face of the person he is conversing with. He is restless and uneasy, avoiding as much as possible eye contact. The reason for the latter behavior is simple. The reflection of the person to whom the aswang is talking to appears upside down in the eye of the said aswang. The latter does not want this noticed, so the aswang refused to have an eye contact. Okay, interesting. If a leaf of a particular plant called the talampunay plant is rubbed on the palm of an aswang, or the plant seeds are placed on his head, the aswang is sure to automatically emit the kak cry. Giving the aswang a severe blow in his stomach will make him utter also the same bird sound. If a person using a Catholic Mass which is going on, if a person during a Catholic Mass which is going on deliberately dodges the blessing given by the priest, it is certain that he is an aswang. Strange physical appearance like the toes pointing upward, or the lack of the canal or philtrum between the upper lip and the nose, they are indications that the person is an aswang. Okay, so ayun guys, no? So, yun yung powers ng aswang, yung mga indikasyon ng aswang. So, I am now making this podcast a bit, a little informal para maging natural lang tayo, no? So, yung sound effects na rin, yung parang nasa radio, is sadya po yan, hindi po yan low quality mic, kundi sadya po yan. So, let's make, para medyo vintage yung effect natin, talagang radyong-radyo. So, I'm making this podcast a bit informal so that we can discuss more or we can, connect more to you guys. So, yun lang po. And let's continue. No. So, sabi dito, the other way is the use of a needle. If the guest in the house is suspected aswang, the household host should put a needle in the door jamb. In case the guest refuses to go out or cannot pass through the door opening, then the guest is confirmed aswang. So kapag may bisita kayo, maglagay lang daw ng needle sa pintuan. Malalaman nyo kung aswang yun. The use of a broom called sighid is just as effective in detecting aswang. If this broom is if this broom is in an inverted position, is placed just near the door, and the guest cannot pass the door, he is an aswang. Hindi ko alam kung ano itsura ng sighid. Okay, so the ways to detect the presence of an aswang at night are simple. They are as follows. Medyo may mali-mali talaga dito sa book. Yung pagdating sa English, guys. Hindi ko alam kung old English. Mali talaga. So, anyways, pagtsagaan natin. Okay, ulitin natin. The ways to detect the presence of an aswang at night are simple. They are as follows. Hearing the cry of kakak and kikik, the sudden outburst of the infant in the house without any reason or whatever, the sick person's abrupt uneasiness for no ostensible reason at all. Ostensible, what is that? Okay, gumagamit siya ng mga words na hindi naman dapat, hindi may mga kulang na words. Anyways, the atmosphere rapidly turns warm and stinking, the unexplainable noise in the rooftop. A stray dog, pig or cat with no tail could probably be a prowling aswang na lakaw in camouflage searching for a prey. So, natandaan ko yung mga tito-tita namin, sabi, yun nga, kapag nakita daw ng pusa or ng aso na walang buntot, sabi, aswang yan, ganun. There are several measures that can effectively ward off any aswang attack. Holy water, blessed palm Sunday, fronds, mga palaspas, gano'n. Incenso, mga incense, crucifix, all these items can make the aswang depart at once. Reciting a particular orasyon or a prayer consisting of chosen Latin words repels the aswang. Orasyon users carry with them a small piece of paper where the orasyon is written down. What they usually do is they memorize the orasyon, and in case they sense any incoming aswang attack, they recite the orasyon out loud. Yung mga orasyon na yun. Apart from the above Christianity-derived defenses, there are other things that prove effective in driving away the aswangs. Vegetable produce like calamansi or lemoncito, the Philippine lemon, bawang, garlic, or the seeds or leaves of the talampunay plant or gabi plants are also used against the aswang. Okay. Yung mga gabi, gano'n, no? Aswangs extremely despise the smell of calamansi, lemon, and garlic and could not stand the sniffing smoke coming from the burning leaves of the talampunay and gabi leaves or gabi plants. Smelling the smoke that comes from burning chicken feathers, rubber, leather, and similar items make the aswang depart in haste. So, usong-uso dati yung pagsusunog ng gulong, yung pala yun. They find the odor too repugnant as to make them abort any attack they may have planned ahead. Ito yung mga items naman. Metal items like fishing hooks hung under the flooring of the house and big sharp knives, locally called the bolo, with their pointed tips driven through the wooden floor are effective to scare the aswangs. In case of a flying aswang about to attack a lone traveler at night in a secluded area, the latter must drop down to the ground to foil the aswang's swooping attack. He is to remain in that position until he is certain that the aswang has already disappeared. Ways have also been devised to capture an aswang who is prowling at night. Okay, so, ayun, yung mga aswang na naggagala tuwing gabi. In case of a flying aswang about to attack a lone traveler at night in a secluded area, the latter must drop down to the ground to foil the aswang's swooping attack. He is to remain in that position until he is certain that the aswang has already disappeared. Ways have also been devised to capture an aswang who is prowling at night. One trap involves the use of seeds. Talampunay seeds, mustard, corn, and rice grains are commonly used. For no reason, aswangs are susceptible of distraction, and one instance of such distraction is when they see seeds that are scattered in the place where they are to make their attacks. Napaka-usi siguro ng aswang, ayaw na may nakakalat na mga boto-boto, ganyan. If an aswang upon arrival at the space under the house of his intended victim sees seeds strewn around, he is instinctively prodded to pick them up one by one. Napaka-uzi nga ng mga aswang. So kapag may uzi kayong anyways, yun. This urging him to gather every single seed is something that he just cannot avoid. Little does he know that what he has just begun is a distraction which has been devised by the aswang hunter. So, huli na para malaman nila na na-distract na pala sila kasi ewan ko, basta sabi dito, once na makita sila ng puto, instantly, yung instinct nila is damputin yung mga yun isa-isa. So, kaya pala, kapag sa mga probinsya, nakakalat lang yung mga buto-buto, ganyan. Yung mga palay, ganyan. Nahayaan lang nila sa paligid. Kasi nga, para siguro nga, protection sa aswang. Ayun. Ano pa ba? Sabi dito, while the aswang is in the midst of this task, the hunter who has been lurking in the shadows beyond the aswang's notice makes a move. On seeing the aswang totally engaged in his endeavor, the hunter sprints toward the aswang, losing no time to wrap around the aswang's body his weapon, a cordon, which is the cincture or the liturgical vestment worn by the priest during a Catholic Mass. Okay. Once the aswang's body is encircled with this vestment, he is at once rendered powerless and becomes captive of the hunter. Okay, dinamitan lang ng pampari. So, yun na. Nahuli na. At times, the aswang hunter makes use of a bolo. For him to capture or kill the aswang, the hunter must strike the bolo in the middle of the aswang's back, as this part is the most vulnerable in the aswang's body. Kala ko heart. Anyway, this done, medyo yung English niya. This done, mga ganon. Diba? Pwede niyang sabihin dito, by doing this, diba? Anyways, kasi ito mo, kahit ako na maayos na magbasa ng English na maayos, nabubulol kasi nga dahil sa mga English na ganito, di ba? Ewan ko ba. Anyway, tuloy tayo. Ino na natin. By doing this, the aswang can now be captured. O diba, napakasimple. Instead na sinabi niya, this done, the aswang can now be captured. Diba parang, okay. In case the aswang manages to escape despite the blow, it is a certainty that he will die of bleeding soon. Ang weird ng English niya. However, if the aswang fails in his effort, the blow of his bolo landing on some other part of the aswang's body, the aswang may right away heal the wounded part of the body by simply applying some of his saliva may mali na naman. Nakalagay dito, by simply applying some his saliva. Okay, kulang. Okay, ulitin natin. The wounded part of his body by simply applying some of his saliva, yun tinama ko na, which has a powerful curing effect. In this case, the aswang is assured of his continued existence. Another method involves deception. That is, the hunter pretending to be another aswang feeding on the voided phlegm of the bedridden person. As the hunter hangs from the house beams, falsely enjoying the sticky sputum of the tubercular pwede namang sabihin of the sick person or of the person with the TB. Nakakalito talaga. The real aswang who has just arrived will beg for his turn to feed on the mucus being spat by the sick man. Kadiri. Appearing to display great unwillingness, the bogus aswang then yields and allows the real aswang to take the former place. The pony aswang then moves swiftly. He wraps the cincture around the aswang's body, or if his weapon is a bolo, he hacks the middle of the aswang's back. Ayun. Kadiri, bakit ka? Imagine ko kumakain ng plema. The use of 3 two-eyed empty coconut shells has been used to capture an aswang. On the ground under the house of a sick man, the hunter must sit on these coconut shells. By doing this, the hunter makes himself invisible to the aswang's eyes. Oh, talaga. Then, if the aswang arrives and becomes absorbed by his feeding on the tubercular's mucus, pwede na sabihin phlegm, the hunter may strike the aswang with a bolo or capture him with the cincture. You know, the writer complicates the English. Masyado niyang pinapakomplikado yung mga English niya. So, nagmumukha tuloy ano yung nagbabasa. Anyways, the other method is the use of the orasyon. The hunter will recite the orasyon as soon as the aswang arrives. On hearing the orasyon, the aswang will become powerless. O diba? Tuloy-tuloy naman ako magbasa kung maayos yung English. Ako tuloy yung parang nagsasound ng, stuttering and, Anyways, continue. The aswang's capture afterwards. The capture of the aswang is certain afterwards. Yun, pwedeng ganun. Okay, so sigurado daw yung aswang mauhuli. The methods used to capture a walking aswang may not be effective if applied to the flying aswang. The reason is simple. This type of aswang is aerial, so a special trap is employed. Wow, syempre flying nga kaya aerial. This is done with the use of 3 big stones arranged into a stove on the ground. The 3 big nails. Once the bird cry kakak or kikik is heard aloft, the hunter begins to recite the Catholic prayer, the Apostles' Creed. On reaching the part of the prayer that says, "was crucified," the hunter picks up the stone and drives 1 nail into the ground. He does this for 2 more times with the remaining stones and nails and arrange the stone back into the stove position. This done, ayan na naman sa this done. This done, the flying aswang even if he has already gone far, will return back and head to where the stones and nails are. He will then descend and eventually perch on the stove stones. Sakit sa ulo. Guys, bakit ko ba naisipang itong season 5, ano? Anyway, maganda naman kasi siya, kaso yung grammars niya, yung English niya, marami ka namang matututunan eh. Ito, punta na tayo sa other beliefs and patapos na tayo sa chapter na ito. There is an aswang that exists in the mythology of a particular tribe in Mindanao, the Mandaya tribe. Okay, ang ibig sabihin daw ng Mandaya is the inhabitants of the uplands or the highlands, I think. That's what this author meant. Highlands. Okay, uplands. But uplands, may ganun pong word. Okay, so the Mandaya tribe that lives in the area now occupied by the provinces of Davao Oriental, Davao del Norte, and Compostela Valley, Surigao del Sur, Surigao del Norte, and the eastern areas of Cotabato. According to their belief, the term aswang represents a class of malevolent spirits. Sabi dito, there are about 5 most powerful aswang spirits: the Tagbanwa, Tagamaling, Sigbinan, Lumaman, and Bigwa. So yon, nire-represent daw ng aswang yung isang klase ng malevolent spirit who inhabit certain trees, cliffs, and streams, and who delight to injure the living or cause them to fall ill. These spirits are said to be living in balete trees and in some caves. While a member of the tribe becomes sick, he or a member of his family seeks the tribe's priest, known as balyan, to perform the necessary ritual, offering a live chicken to the aswang spirits, requesting them to take and kill the chicken in place of this man, so that he may not die. Once the sick recovers, it is understood that the aswang spirits have accepted the offer, and the fowl is then released to the forest. The buso are diabolical spirits who eat dead people and who cause illness or injury to the living. This is another class of spirits that is found in the belief of the Bagobo, another ethnic tribe in Mindanao. These evil spirits are beings that prey on human flesh and makes people become sick. Once the sick die, the buso will then feed on the corpse. Functionally, the buso is similar to the aswang. Both hunt desolate places, tear open freshly made graves, feed on corpses, prowl over the earth at night in shadowy shapes, or fly through the air, and having entered a death chamber by the window, suck the blood of the dead as soon as the soul leaves the body. The only difference between them is the inability of the buso to metamorphose into human and live like normal people. Okay, so to propitiate the buso. Ano ibig sabihin ng propitiate? Ewan ko rin. Okay, so to propitiate the buso and thus to prevent the buso from attacking the bagobo, baka yun ibig sabihin nun. The tribe members pray to the former and make offerings. By doing this, the bagobo expect the buso to depart and never to cause any illness once more to any tribe member. Over at the Cordillera region in Luzon, the Igorot tribes does not have the aswang in their folklore. The same thing in the folklore of the inhabitants of the Ilocos region. The aswang does not figure in the Ilocanos mythology. The running joke is that in the Ilocos region, there is just too much garlic produced there that makes the aswang avoid going in that place. So wala daw aswang sa Ilocos region dahil daw sa mga garlic. Anyway, speaking of Ilocos, guys, hindi kami natuloy kasi ayan, pabago-bago ng isip yung mom ng friend ko. But anyways, that's another story. We will go sana sa Ilocos. Sabi ko nga dun sa greeting episode natin, pupunta sana kami doon sa Ilocos. Kaso hindi natuloy. Dapat nasa biyahe na kami ngayon. Tapos sabi, na-move tomorrow. Okay, na-move. And then, sabi kanina, hindi na raw tuloy. Okay. Anyways. Sayang yun. Tuloy natin. Yun, kaya pala may mga biruan daw na wala naman daw talagang aswang sa Ilocos kasi puro bawang. Ang dami kasing bawang talaga doon. Okay, this is the last part, I think. Interlocking beliefs. It is easily noticeable that these beliefs, the Waray, Cebuano, Tagalog, Visayan, or Panay, Hiligaynon, Bicol, and Kapampangan beliefs interlock with one another. Yung lahat ng mga beliefs na napag-usapan natin from this episode, pati yung mga past episodes. For instance, they all say that the aswang are creatures that feed on human flesh, blood, and organs. That aswangs are witches is shared by the Waray, Cebu, Tagalog, and Bicol beliefs. The self-segmenting aswang are present in all beliefs and are called the manananggal. In Bicol belief, as seen above, or as we previously discussed, the term is used anananggal, whose transformation is different. The halving of the body is only just below the neck, while the rest of the beliefs, the body separation is at the waist level. And in the Kapampangan, it is also called the magkukutud. The shape-shifting attributes of the aswang is recognized also in all these beliefs. So lahat ng belief na napag-usapan natin from this chapter up to mga previous chapter is interlocking o may pagkakapare-pareho daw. This fact, the interlocking nature of these beliefs, tells us that despite the different languages, the divergent customs and traditions of the people in this region, these folks all have the same concept of the aswang. More importantly, those beliefs confirm one undeniable fact. The aswang are living creatures and not mere imaginary beings. Oo nga naman. The belief in the aswang, in other words, by the people in this region is a living belief. So, yun yung sinasabi. Okay, so lastly, these various beliefs or their similarities yield the following essential points. So, to sum up the regional beliefs, guys, to sum up from this chapter up to the previous ones, the other regional belief, part 1 and part 2. Ito, isa-summarize natin lahat. The aswang is a witch. Yun yung una. Pangalawa, there are just two kinds of aswang, namely, the prowling aswang and the flying aswang. Yung mga naglalakad daw at yung mga lumilipad. Pangatlo, the prowling aswang has the power to shape-shift, to assume in any animal form or even in any non-animal form as a disguise to avoid detection. Yung mga naglalakad na aswang. Pang-apat, the flying aswang, may dalawang kind daw. One who can take flight with his or her body intact, and the other one who is a body-halving aswang called the manananggal, who flies with the upper segmented part only. So, dalawa. Isang lumilipad ng buo at isang nakahati. Panglima. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Panglima. This torso-splitting manananggal appears to be of two kinds also. Okay, yung mga Yung lumilipad, nahati sa dalawa, isang hindi lumilipad ng buo at isang nahati. Tapos yung nahati rin sa dalawa. Joke yun. Pero yun, 2 kinds. Nahati sa dalawang kind. One severs at the waist with arms and hands attached to the upper part, and the other that detaches just below the neck, which flies without the arms and hands. So, meaning ulo lang lumilipad. Tapos yung iba, dito, kalahati ng katawan. Lastly, the aswang feed on human flesh, blood, and organs. Usually, the liver, and yun nga, yung fetuses, and the expectorated phlegm of a sick person. Pwede naman yung sabing phlegm of a sick person. So, yun guys. I hope marami kayong nalaman kahit na nakakalito yung mga wordings natin or mga terms, no? Minsan nakakalito. Ang dami tayong nalaman listening from the previous chapter up to this point. So, I hope marami kayong nalaman about aswangs, and the next episode, we will tackle or we will tell you about the aswang stories or the aswang tales na mga kwentong aswang na. So, I hope na stay kayo sa pakikinig. No, gagawin ko na tong medyo informal para ma-explain ko rin ng maayos. No, hindi lang tayo magbabasa unlike the previous chapter. So, I really apologize for that. So, gawin ko na tong more interactive and more fun, no. Hindi masyadong seryoso gaya ng iba. So, ayan nga, may narinig kay sound effects na to. Ingay ng laptop, and then nilagyan ko pa ng added para parang radyo ang datingan. Parang old-time radio, yung parang nakikinig doon. So, muli, guys, maraming salamat po sa pakikinig, and have a blessed night.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.